Hello and welcome to the Unofficial Controller Podcast, your weekly gaming podcast. Episode number, now by my reckoning, 260. Oh, some would think it warrants a celebration. We're just going to deliver you a straightforward news episode with me, George, and this week joined by RGT. Bull to my China shop. How's it going?
I am extremely well.
In fact, I
How
got
are
that the
you?
wrong way round. I'm Bull to your China shop, aren't I? I'm the one
I was
coming
going to
in.
say, yeah, I'm the bull now, am I?
You can be whatever you. What would you want to be?
Yeah, to be honest, I wouldn't mind being a bull.
Fair play to you,
Yeah, no
Odine.
problem.
Right, let's get stuck straight into the meat and veg of it. Oh, if you're listening, it's your first time, drop us a follow, tell all your friends. All the cool kids are doing it now. Tell all your friends, drop a follow here, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Deezer, Amazon Music, whatever. Tell the
Podbean,
world.
Podchaser, they're all on there.
Podbean, Podchaser. I mean, if you give us a like and a review on every platform, good or bad, it helps the metric. Do what you feel.
Hmm.
Anyway, let's get stuck straight into business, RGT, because I'm sure they didn't come for the news. I'm sure they came to find out what some random Suffolk man's been playing this week on his video game console. So, what you been playing?
Um, had a little bit of a night on the Evercade the other night.
On it or playing on it?
No, just sitting on it. No, we're playing on it.
Like a chicken hatching an
Yeah,
egg.
no, me and my mate had a few beers. He came around and said, "Right, come on, let's play some Evercade." So we done a playthrough of In the Hunt, the prequel to Metal Slug. We played that all the way through to completion. I mean, it is the arcade ROM, so you do sit there with your select button, go ka-chink, ka-tink, 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 putting about 99 credits in because it is a toughie, but it's
It
such a good
is.
game. It is
Hmm.
such a good game. So that was really good. We had a blitz through some other bits and pieces I won't go into because
Can we just go on that a minute? Because the pixel art on those
yeah,
games is absolutely beautiful. I presume
stunning,
this, yeah,
stunning,
nice.
and it plays superbly on the arcade. It's really good.
Is that part of a pack? Did you say, or is that a singular game on its own?
No, that is part of the. Oh, you've put me on.
Don't
I can't
worry.
remember which one. I can't remember which one it is, but
Only a couple of million people are listening.
yeah, just switched off. Yeah, so we played through that. That's really good. And what I do love about them, because they are the arcade ROMs, even when you start the game, that's like you've turned on the arcade machine. It actually has the start up ROM screen where it goes all glitchy, beep, 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 and then loads the game.
Hmm.
It's that authentic. Really good. We played some Karate Champ. Remember Karate Champ?
Wow.
Yeah, that is old. It is tough because you have to you if you go past your opponent, you then have to do a lot of jump and a lot of back jump to try and face the other way. It's really awkward
Yeah.
because and then you face the other way and then he just kicks you in the back of the head 3 times. You're out.
I think
But
I had a similar game on Atari ST and I could never quite work it out. Because you just, as
mm,
you say, you didn't ever auto correct your location, did you?
yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah. So we played that. Had a few rounds of that. That was good fun. Um, then we played some Midnight Resistance, which is well, it's like
Hmm.
Contra.
Yeah.
Like Contra. We were playing that. That's tough. That is tough, that game, and hectic, but good fun. But we did find that it was, you could just blitz through the stages. There's bits you were getting taken out quite early on, but really good. Great fun. And then we went on to we had a quick look at the Legacy of Kain collection, just see what they played like the two games.
Hmm.
Um, and obviously the
They're very
first
different
one,
games, aren't they?
yeah, the first one's obviously almost like um, sort of early Baldur's Gate, really. It's that sort of
That's what I
isometric
was going to say.
top
Yeah,
down.
it's got
Yeah.
that sort of Diablo feel to it.
Mm, But yeah, good. Plays really well, really smooth. And then we had a look at what is the second one? Is it Legacy of Kain, the
Legacy of
second one?
Kain, Soul Reaver Legacy of
Yeah.
Kain.
And that's got lovely, the old 32-bit polygons, but looks really good, really smooth, high res.
Yeah.
Obviously, on the Evercade, you can set it to what you want, but I always have it on the highest res. I don't go for scan lines or anything like that. But yeah, that played well. It's something I'd really like to get into and have a playthrough of that.
I
So
think
that
you'd
was really
like
good.
it only because it's got the DNA of Amy Hennig all over it. I do believe that was probably one of her first main
Mm,
games and was certainly what I would call, and you can see it in it, a signpost towards the first steps of Uncharted in terms of characterization, level
Mm.
design,
Oh yeah,
storytelling within
and that
that level.
introduction at the start to what's
Yeah,
happened and who your character is and why you're there, and yeah, really good.
yeah,
Um, a game in some respects ahead of us time. When you think of
very
when it actually,
much.
yeah, it
I had
was,
it on Dreamcast and it felt really fresh.
yeah.
Obviously, I think it was on other formats as well. Obviously, PlayStation 1. Um, and I got it like quite early on into my Dreamcast relationship. And I do remember thinking to myself, wow, this is a looker. And it was
Mm.
one of, to me, it was one of the standout games.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they used the Dreamcast ROM on this, but I don't think they do. I think they use the PS1 ROM. But it still looks good, still plays really good. And yeah, my friend was it's the first time he's played on the Evercade, and he was impressed, and he kept saying, "How much is one of these then for the home console?" I was like, "Well, if you get the Tomb Raider pack one, that's about 90 quid." And he was like, "It's actually a bit of kit for what all the cartridges you can buy and you can do, and the home screen." He was
Oh,
like, "Hmm."
God.
Another convert. I hope you're listening, Evercade. I'm doing you a turn here, son. Doing you a turn. I mean, George has now got every Evercade game going, ain't he, George?
I just had a weather reporting from hell, mate, and it seems like the weather's staying pretty fiery looking for now, so you're well safe.
But yeah, it's a great night. And it's just pretty much what that system's made for, having your friends round. I bought a second controller as well, so
That's
two
why I don't
controllers.
have one.
Uh, well, yeah, that would be hard just being on your own. But in your basement at your
Yeah,
mum's.
yeah, you
Yep.
got to own it.
But I got a second controller, 20 quid. So I thought that ain't too bad. I know some people use the 8-bit doos and bits and pieces with them, which I've got a couple of 8-bit doos, but they're buried
Is
in
it 8
storage.
bit
So.
do or 8 bit duo?
No, it's actually it's 8-bit do. Some people call them 8-bit do or 8-bit duo, but if you get one of their early, they done a 8-bit do speaker. And when you turned it on, that went 8-bit do. So now you know it's 8-bit do. So it is actually 8-bit do.
There you go. There's one of those sort of gaming
Got off a YouTube
conundrums.
video the other day, and he sort of cleared it up and said nope, but because people had been correcting him in the comments, and he was like nope, and he played the speaker. That went 8-bit do. There you go, it's 8-bit do.
Right.
So,
Well, there you go.
but you can use them. That's quite open source on controllers. But I just thought, well, I'll get an original one for 20 quid. You know, I've got an extension, USB extension now, cable. But yeah, worked
Keeps
brilliantly.
it
So
official. I love it.
that's how I roll. Um, yes, and then more Lego City Undercover.
Oh,
And another.
yeah. How's that developing?
Oh, I'm really enjoying it. It's funny. It's yeah, it's not as obviously intense as a GTA, but it's pretty chilled out. You can go and explore. Been doing the missions. Had to get down to mines and look for a guy called Stinky. He was then kidnapped by the bad guy. So I'm now off going undercover for working for a lot of triad gangster as a limo driver. It's really good fun. Really, really good fun. And for a game that's on premium, if you're a premium, I think it's on extra as well. If you're extra and premium, if you're on
Yeah.
them tiers, just download it and have a go. I think the story, you can probably complete it in about 15 hours, 12, 15 hours. I don't think it's a long game. Give it a go. It's great fun if you want
Are you
some.
going for the plat on this bad boy or not?
I wasn't intending to, but we'll see how it goes. There's so many trophies I pick
Mm.
up, and then if you end up getting 2/3 of the way there, that give you. But if it's going to be clearing all, collecting everything on each level, I don't know if I can collect every Lego piece on each level because that's quite intense. But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, really enjoying that. I would recommend that, even if you're not really into Lego games. Aim at Undercover just for the open worldness and the fun and the story. And yeah, I'm just surprised they've never done another one because that'd be what people would probably want at the minute. Good open world Lego game. But and finally, I started a new game on my PS3 this week. Yeah, my daughter's boyfriend's favourite game has even got a tattoo of the symbol of the game, so he
Wait.
he raves about it. So
How
I
has a
thought I'm going to get it
12-year-old
done.
got a tattoo?
12,
You're there's no way I'm not having this. How old is this boyfriend?
23, I think.
Bloody hell. And what's his favourite game on PS3?
Yeah,
Oh, he's a sub, isn't he? Sorry, sir, thank you. Uh,
no, it's not.
oh, well. What's his
Mm.
favourite game on PS3? Let's judge him as a man based on his PlayStation 3 choice.
Dishonored.
Wow, what a high caliber gentleman!
Mm.
Look at him
So,
walking in with a cravat and a
and
smoking jacket.
he's got the tattoo on his hand. Yeah.
Wow,
He's a discerning gentleman when it comes to gaming.
isn't he?
Mm.
I'd have
Is that
seen it and dismissed it as an Assassin's Creed Black Flag tattoo.
mm. Bioshock, Mr. RGT? I think you'll find Dishonored's the way to go, sir. Dishonored's the way to go.
Comes in, call yourself a gamer. What's this? Lego City Undercover. Yeah.
I just thought of that. Yeah,
Real men play
yeah.
Dishonored, sir.
Gaming podcast, you say? Lego City Undercover. Yeah, let's have a little chat, sir. Let's have a little chat, sir. Yeah,
Some young man's rebriefing you about your game
yeah.
choices. What, you tell people on that show that you play a Lego game?
Mm. Are they still listening, or
At this point, God knows. Okay.
um? Yeah.
So
So anyway, yeah.
Dishonored, how are you finding that?
Um, really good actually. I've played. I mean, it's got quite a long intro, so you sort of play, you know, the setup and the story, and then you escape the captivity in the prison. And I've just met like the what would you call them, sort of rebel army, the resistance, I suppose.
Mm.
So I've just done the first mission with them. Um, Reminds me very much of Bioshock. The artwork is very Bioshock. It's not when you look at the cover, you think it's going to be almost as real as you could get in a PS3, you know, sort of GTA 5, something like that. But they
Hmm.
haven't. They've gone down that Bioshock more different, you know, non-realistic artwork, I suppose you could say.
Yeah, it's got
Um,
a touch of like a caricature about it, hasn't it?
that's what I was looking for. Yeah, yeah, perfect. But that's really good. Controls are really good. Like I say, it's
Yeah.
very Bioshocky as well, the way it plays. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And again, that's another one of those FPS games I haven't played, so I'm looking forward to getting through it and playing it. Plus, it's only 11, 12 hours to completion, so it's something you can do
Well,
fairly
I would
swiftly.
imagine that you might have to have a couple of playthroughs because some things you
Oh,
do
really?
early on can affect the outcome. It's all very much intertwined and interlinked into the eventual
Mm,
um, plot ending, I suppose. I think there's various routes, and I think
mm.
some of the sort of triggers that you don't even realise you're tripping over in the early part of the game certainly set up. Because if memory serves, they did Dishonored 2, and then they've also done that.
Yes, a spin-off, wasn't it, sort of thing.
Well, there's that time loop one on PS5. What's it
Mm.
called? Death Loop. That's them.
Oh, yes, yes, that's them, isn't it?
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I think it's really good. And plus, I mean, you can go and CEX pick this up for
it's literally a
pound
quid.
50.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pound 50.
pound,
Yeah.
and I
Well,
think it's
on that note, if I may interject, while we're on the
mhm.
subject of games at CEX being £1.50, me and you discovered the CX app had like boosted every single PS2 game, even what I would have said 18 months ago would have been bin fodder, into almost a £12 game. What's happening here?
Yeah, I didn't even realise this till you said, and we were looking at the PS2s, and you come back and said, why are these sort of standard titles on PS2 now 15 quid?
Hmm.
And I was like, I didn't realise they were. And you were like, have a look at the apps. So I went in the app, not SSX Tricky 15. I'm like, Platinum Edition. And I'm like, what? When was that?
Exactly.
That was like a pound not long ago. That was a pound, that game. And I'm like, I know it's a good game and all, but is it? It's not rare, is it?
I think that it's literally we've just hit that point where PS2 best-selling console of all time had a large fan base, probably spread across a really wide demographic of ages, and the youngest ones have now probably arrived at the time where they've got disposable cash and they want a full PS2 collection. I would say good luck to you.
Mm.
That's
It's
an
a lot of
enviable
games.
task. It's a lot of games. I haven't even gone deep on PS2. I've got a reasonably curated collection, and it forms the biggest bulk of shelf occupation of probably my collection.
Mm.
Really,
Yeah, me too. Me too.
it's
My biggest
vast
part of the
library,
collection
isn't
is
it?
is PS5. Yeah, and that's apart from a few games which I bought, which were when my daughter was younger, that we used to play on the PS2 together. Other than that, I mean, it's all games that I've wanted to play or have played or wanted in my collection. So it's still fairly curated, and I'm probably 550, 600 PS2 titles.
Yeah.
And there's still a lot of PS2 I want, but this might put me off a bit with. And because also what we noticed was the most expensive game as of when we looked
Mm.
was like $40 on there. So we were like, where's all the big hitters? They haven't listed any of them. So whether they were going through the process of relisting online and redoing the prices, I don't know. But yeah, it was a bit of a shock, really. There was some standard games, good games. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
standard pickups. They're the ones you would go for straight away with building a PS2 collection
Well,
that
as
were
an
that
Xbox
were 15, and you're
comparison,
like,
or yeah, or a PS3 comparison, it'd be like seeing Gears of War or Uncharted One up at the Megabucks. It's just not what you
yeah,
expect to see, and I was
no,
a
it
bit
shocked
kind
me a
of,
bit.
I was surprised.
Which means if these SSX trickies and all these, you know, larger games that sold in numbers are 15, what's it now pushed up the ones that are people after, like your Sly Coopers and ones like that? I mean, are they
They were $40
40? There we go. So,
each.
mm,
So the trilogy is going to cost you some serious cash.
mm,
And I
yeah, and I
think I
suppose,
remember wincing when I managed to pull the trilogy in. The first two games were easy to pick up, but getting the third one with the 3D glasses, complete with manual and all that, was a
yeah,
big ask.
you don't see that very often.
No, you
Not
don't.
complete, not
Not in the
complete either.
wild either.
No,
And in the end, I
which,
did pick it up, and I
I
bought
want,
it 15 quid. I think then.
and I wonder as well whether this is now going to push up the HD collections on PS3. All MP HD collections, is it going to push them up?
I think potentially they might be the first to get spiked when we get to it, but I think they've never been cheap though, those HD
No,
collections on PS3. I
I
don't know
think
whether it was a limited print run or people just aspire to get them on PS3
mm,
or what. I don't know what it is, but they've always been a difficult to source. Now I know
mm,
if you went on eBay and opened your wallet up, you could get one here tomorrow, and you say it's difficult to source, but I mean ethically source, i.e., in the shop or at a
yeah,
charity or whatever, where you're not giving them half your wages for the month to get
mm,
one 400-year-old game. I think also that we are now fully entering a time where anybody that's got anything isn't taking it to the charity shop anymore. Because I've noticed that the flea markets, the charity shops, the thrift stores, the Goodwills, whatever you want to call it, like their content seems to be dwindling. And I should imagine when times get tight, instead of just throwing it in a box and sending it to the Chazza or the thrift store, whatever, you're actually now listing it on eBay because everyone thinks they've got £1 million because they've got 6 games on the shelf.
or
And
even, people who aren't even gamers now, they go in CEX for movies and phones and bits, and they see games in there and think, hang on, why give it to a charity shop for free? Yes, you're not going to get nowhere near the value, but you're still either going to get some store credit or a few quid in your pocket. So I think, yeah, I think it's with the rise of CEX how it is, and like you say, eBay. I think a lot of people are cottoned on now, and
yeah,
I think,
and the hobby from a retro point of view, it was always kind of monetized because it's been hanging around there on the 16-bit consoles, and obviously we've seen SNES and Mega Drive titles or Super Famicom or Genesis titles spike. Um, but I really feel like it's took home now in PS1, PS2. What, we 5 years away from watching the PS3 console library explode, the 360 console
mm,
market explode. I
mm,
think the
mm,
360 will probably do better out of it initially, because it did have a lot of groundswell of support, and there was a lot of transitory players that kind of bummed off at the end of the PS2 because, oh, got another year to wait for graphics, and the Xbox 360 was sat there at like a disturbing price point in terms of cheapness, and people wanted a change. PS2 had been
mm,
around a long time at that point, so I think maybe some of
mm.
those people that maybe are chasing PS2 at the minute will then probably jump and chase 360, and then they'll jump and start chasing PS3 with some ferocity because the
It's a good
PS3
point. Yeah,
has never been that cheap a console to. There are £1 games, don't get me wrong, but then there's always been those kind of hanging around the ether games that are pricey. But I think once it takes root on PS3, that thing will explode price wise. It'll be hard to collect for.
yeah. I think going back to them HD collections, the last one I got was the Splinter Cell one,
Mm.
and I think that was about 30 on
Yeah, and that
PS3.
feels like a reasonable price.
Hmm. I think I've got about five. I think I've got now 5 or 6. I think, but yeah, I don't know how many there
I've
is. I think
got. I
there's
think I've got Splinter Cell. I don't think. I think I've got Splinter Cell, I know I've got. I've got the Prince of Persia's.
Yeah, I got that one.
I don't think I bothered, or did I?
I've got God of War,
Yeah, I think I've got that.
Tomb Raider, I think,
I don't think I've got that.
and I've got what's the other
I
one
might
I've
have
got?
Jack and Daxter. I don't think I got Sly because I already had that like locked away on PS2 original hardware. I do
Hmm.
try and find because we've got the hardware. I do try and make sure that I'm playing that game on that hardware. I wouldn't necessarily go
Yeah.
plump for. Although saying that, I've got the Prince of Persia collection on PS3 and tucked away somewhere. I've got it on PS2. I don't know what's wrong with me. We're gamers, aren't we? We're collectors. We're
Exactly.
not normal people.
No.
How many versions of that game do you wanna have?
Oh, yeah. I've got multiples of some games, and I just think, why have you done that? That's
Well, I
because
was
I buy it like on the PS2, and then someone says, "Oh, the Xbox is the best version." I'll get that, and then someone will say, "Well, GameCube looks good." Oh, I'll try the GameCube one, and before you know it, you've got 18 copies because you're trying to also make the copies you've got better by buying.
buying
Yeah,
extra bits to pad it
yeah.
out. Yeah, I've done that. I don't think I'm. I was looking through my list the other day of like wants that I've got left, and I'm about there, in terms of back in the day backlog games that I want to pick up,
Mm,
and that works for me because I'm a nearly there, just at the point in time where everything starts to spike, and it's like, okay, I can step back.
yeah. And then if
Um,
there's one you've forgotten or one you just get reminded of, then you can source it out over time, can't you? But yeah,
yeah,
it's
and it did a pretty decent job of picking up the PS4 games as they launched at the time, and any sort of curiosities I picked up along the way. So I don't really feel like I've got a lot left to go back to fill the gaps in that I would want
mm,
there. So I guess now it leaves me able to really focus and double down on picking up the PS5 rarities, I guess.
yeah, yeah, that's true. But
What
yeah,
else
but
have
well,
you been up to on the gaming scene? Because obviously I took us for a wander down the Antiques Roadshow video games. What else have you got going on?
no, that is it. That is what I've been playing. So it's probably time for me to then do the flip, the role reversal, and say, "What have you been playing?"
Put your pad down, flip it, and reverse it. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? What games have you? No? Okay.
Copyright.
Oh, mate, if they got copyright off that, it's
Well,
an
that
algorithm.
sounded very authentic.
Okay, well, put your pad down, flip it, and reverse it. Because ask yourself, are you worth it? I'm going to tell you. I think is that the way we do what you've been playing now?
Well, it's from today, yeah.
Uh, okay. Well, before we take people on any further of a dalliance of a journey of their time, let me tell you, Assassin's Creed, I've had a little rumble with. I think I finished Wessex the other day, and now I'm up in York. And I just kind of migrated through no fault of Assassin's Creed. I've gone full back into Farming Simulator, hence why I'm wearing the coveralls right now. Never say
So
die.
are you a
Dreg.
bit burnt out on Valhalla, or
I don't know. Something just clicked on Farming Simulator with the map. I finally managed to acquire the land that I wanted in the corner of the map that I wanted. I managed to move because I'm playing on the Calmston farm, which is actually listed as Oak Bridge for some reason now on the mod hub. Whatever. That's fine. Still Calmston to me.
Mhm.
And you start off basically around this cow farm, really. And I dabbled with livestock in previous farming simulators, but I'll be honest with you, it's too much like hard work, much like in real life. Anyone who has cows is a hero to me because it's so much effort and work and dedication and
Mm,
time. It's unreal. Whereas in this game, I'm a full arable man. So it's all about just the wheat crops, getting them in, harvester at summertime, that sort of stuff. And I've got now the perfect triangle of land. I've got the perfect set of vehicles to help me do this. Although they're not old vehicles, I found a compromise on the new stuff and just thoroughly enjoying it. We talked before about how the new physics system and the suspension and whatnot makes the vehicle travel across the field in a more realistic way. The kind of deformation of the tyres on the area that you've worked as well looks really smart. I have no I mean, yeah, it's a time sink. I think I spent all day Sunday harvesting. This is one of the problems. I bought a field. and there was a crop in it ready to crop, and it was peas. And I've never harvested peas in this game or in real
Sounds
life.
complicated.
It wasn't. There's one machine. It was super expensive, so I leased it. But do you remember when we had that co-op game and we collected the sugar beet and the hopper was tiny?
Hmm.
The hopper on the pea harvester is minuscule. Literally once down and then back up again, and this thing was full. And
So
this
then you're then
field,
tipping it in your truck and getting in the truck, taking it.
yeah, and this field probably had 30 ups and downs in it.
Oof.
Yeah, yeah. So you constantly, I was trying to do something in another field, constantly flicking back. Where's he at? Oh God, right, he needs unloading. Up to him, like done. Park up, get on, go back to the other field, start trying to. I can't remember what I was doing. I think I was seeding another field and then also trying to roll it at the same time. It was a lot of work, and I'm trying to juggle it all. And P man needs emptying. Jesus, here we go. Now it sounds like I'm complaining. I was having the time of my life. Um,
Hence why you're in dungarees.
Hence why I'm in dungarees, and I don't
Cool
know if you've.
t-shirt though.
Yeah, never say
Awesome.
die.
Yeah,
One would say I've shown you my one-eyed Willy, and you should be enjoying it.
I always do.
Audio listeners are like, oh, can't wait for the video version of this. George has got his snake out. Don't you worry, I haven't.
Like YouTube wouldn't let him. He's tried, but
They blurred it. Although smallest blur ever known to
they're
man.
1 pixel.
Oh wow, look at Big Snake Dave over there. Chill out.
Big Snake
Yeah,
Dave.
we shared your idol. I know the real story.
Well, yeah, but that's why I'd get in there first. But anyway, pea crop. Come on, pea crop.
Yeah, that was all done. So now I've got canola in every field bar this last one that I'm working on, which used to be the game. Obviously, FS as it goes along, it's picked up different animal types, and on this modded map of Calmston, this area was meant to be for like horse grazing. And I bought it and sent a plow straight in there. Selected create field, dropped the plow in, like literally dragged the living soul out of this ground. That was quite tough because until I'd created the field, the AI didn't recognize it as a field. So I literally had to go in there and graft out that ploughing myself. It was absolutely brutal as well. The way I went at it was not kind. But once I'd created the field, the game knew exactly what I wanted to do. And then when I sent the AI workers in afterwards to retill it and then to lime it and then to turn it again and then seed it, they knew immediately where they needed to be. So hats off to them for that. That was slick.
Hmm.
I was a bit frustrated at first. Oh, why won't you plough? I thought, it's telling me why. It's not recognised as a field that was ever set up to be
Hmm.
have the literal life ragged out of it by some insane guy in a case, literally splitting the ground in two like Moses would the sea. I don't care. Um, so I've literally got that to a plantable stage now. So it's fertilized, it's limed, and it's tilled, and it's ready to go. So I just need to send the seeder in there, roll the big field, and when I say big field, it's huge. Roll that, and come and do one last roll, and then basically bed down for what's left of the autumn. Canola and wheat prices, which have got in my silo, spike in December. So I'm going to lease a truck and a massive, the biggest sort of bulking trailer I can find, and then the month of December is basically going to be me dodging ice piles while driving. I don't know, probably 120 tons of canola and grain um, down to the grain warehouse. So boring. Uh,
But you love it.
I do, I really do. Um, and oh, some awful news actually to um, share with everybody. Um, Probably no easy way to say this, but I've recently become single again, uh, which is a bit tough because the beautiful Rachel has discovered Sims 4. Um,
Hmm. Yeah,
so
my partner discovered Sims 4 a few years ago, and I forgot what she looked like.
I don't even know who she is anymore.
Yeah.
Sat down cross-legged about 2 inches away from the television screen, playing the living wheels out of Sims 4. And now, I think I acquired it when it was a. I think PlayStation gave it away, didn't they? Many years ago.
Mm. I bet my daughter played the wheels off and kept buying all the expansion packs and everything and
Well,
put hundreds of hours in. You
well,
know when they've played too much because they start talking like the Sims. What do you want for tea tonight, darling? Oh
hey,
dear.
by the
Come
way,
away from the telly.
did you know that as part of one of these DLC packs, Katy Perry recorded a lot of her songs in Simish? And if you've never seen the YouTube video, type in Katy Perry fireworks Simish, and you've got Katy Perry in the studio like this. Yes, a mission nepatu, shoopa absolutely iconic. But then I saw a video of someone saying everyone's laughing at this Katy Perry video, but she's actually given us the Rosetta Stone to work out what these Sims are saying to each other. And I thought to myself, well, yeah, actually, because goopy goop is we know what that word is in the actual song. So therefore, ergo, we're going to be able to work out what some of these words these Sims are saying to each
God,
other are.
sort of Egyptian hieroglyphics.
That's what I'm saying, the Rosetta Stone. And,
Yeah.
people have now started to decipher what all this gobbledygook. Now, it probably
No,
is just gobbledygook, isn't
yeah,
it?
because she probably did make it up. That's not actual
No,
words.
they rewrote it for her. And
No.
yes,
So she's actually
in
talking
the
Sims
video,
language.
she's reading the rewritten words in Simish of her song off a sheet of paper as she's being recorded, and she keeps glancing down to make sure she's saying the correct Simish.
Oh my God.
So come at me with your sim language
I, f-
translations.
I feel like being a Sim Indiana Jones and working it all out.
Oh my god, mate!
Sim Indiana Jones.
Get out of here with that! Get out of here!
Oh, I'm here all week.
Oh, please do that.
I
Right.
just, yeah, first one to put that in the Discord.
But
Sim Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones, RGT is going to send you a 3DO.
Ooh. Oh, well, hold on. I have even got one myself.
Yeah, well, I'll get to. The what was I going to say? Anyway, Sims 4. I am impressed by it in a way. I'm sort of watching it vicariously while I'm playing bigger boys games. Like, what is this? Um, One thing I would say that lets it down massively, it is one buggy, crashy mess of a game.
Who makes that again? Oh, EA, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Mm, mm.
I did say to Reg just that I wouldn't surprise me it performs this badly because I should think in the shop there's a DLC pack for glitch-free gaming for 39.99 or
Well,
something like
that's
that.
like when my daughter used to play it. Oh, Dad, can I get the expansion pack? And you look it up, and it's 40 quid, and you're like, oh, she must have had five or six of these. So
Mm.
you're over £200 in the hole before even you bought the game. You just thought, oh, that's most expansions are 10 or 15 quid, 40 quid, and I'm like, you better play this.
You better add.
Yeah,
Buy everything in this pack in the
sometimes they'd
game.
have them on sale, but and then they sort of done one where, oh, if you sign up to EA Play, you get the full game. We thought, oh, you get all the expansions. So no, 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 you don't. You pay
Oh
three
my
pound fifty.
God.
You pay £3.50 a month to have EA Play, but then if you want expansions, you've got to buy them on top as well. And I'm like, oh, you tricky little blighters.
You're allowed one swear word, so use what you like.
Blighters plenty good enough for me. I don't need to talk like filth.
I need you to. Okay. So Sims 4, so I've been mildly impressed by that, but been very upset with a game that, however many years old it is so buggy. And she's playing it on PS4 Pro. I
Yeah,
mean, I'll be tempted to install it on the 5 if, I didn't need to get a bloody priest round to perform some sort of exorcism on the console afterwards. Um, but yeah, so she's regularly saving, and it's the usual sort of Sims activity. But apart from the crashes, I've
it's
been semi
yeah,
impressed with it.
it's a bit naughty when that they have fleeced the finances out of that with these expansions. It should really be running pretty well by now. You've got to
You would
support it.
think so.
It's a bit naughty that. I mean,
It
there's still a lot
is.
of people play that, I would imagine.
Oh, there's got to be, and there's got to be a big scene of streamers on YouTube. But one would imagine they're probably playing it on a 4060 Ti Radiant thing now, so it's probably just brute forcing all the problems out of the way. But yeah, on PS4 Pro, it looked. There was a lot of loading. The loading screens seemed to go on for what felt like decades. I'd be ploughing a
Mm,
field and feel like I'd spent a long time on that, and then look up and it was still loading. Like, what the hell?
mm,
So some impressive bits and bobs in there in terms of the playability, but definitely a thumbs down from me for the finished quality of a product that now should be in its most purest and finished form. And I've got one more confession for you.
this is confession time, isn't it? Jeez.
Mm. I felt really tired yesterday, and I took myself off to bed a bit early and started playing on the Switch Assassin's Creed 2. Now,
Any
it was
reason or?
I just wanted something just to kick about on. I don't know why. I went in my digital library, and got to A and kind of stopped there, really.
First
uh,
one, that'll do.
yeah, and I thought, oh, I ain't played that since COVID times. And I put it on. Now, I was playing the Switch. It's an OG Switch, admittedly. It's in handheld mode, admittedly. But my takeaway, RGT, was
Oh,
I don't remember it looking as bad. In
four
now,
frames per second. When you jump and they go,
that element
you
of
thought,
it
oh,
so far has been okay, and the in the past sections especially look okay. But when Desmond Miles, aka friend of the show Nolan North, is talking to like this other character as you're escaping the Esturgo base. I remember the first time I popped it in the PS3 during COVID when for the show I played through every single Assassin's Creed game
I
and
remember that.
still hurts me now. And I remember thinking to myself, this is still quite a good looking game. And I was trying to put some context behind it. Was it because at the time it wasn't still that far away from the PS3 era, and therefore it was kind of acceptable to me? And if it did, wow, it was like, wow, this is standout, this is pretty impressive. Or is the Switch version even more dumbed down? Because I'm thinking, yes, it is.
Should it be though?
Well, it shouldn't be, technically, should it? But I didn't know whether if I'd suddenly plopped it in
But
the dock, whether the graphics would have been slightly better, and therefore go on handheld, it was a bit like, oh, we're going to have to pare down these textures. And
I mean, some companies do these, you know, drop them on different systems. They optimize them really well. Other companies, a bit like Ubisoft. This disc, can we get it on this cartridge? How can we put it on here? Literally, just dump the ROM on, see how it plays. That'll do. Put it out there. Well, you think you could have optimized that more. You could have optimized that more.
I don't want to go too hard at them for the reasons that I just mentioned, because I'm only playing it in handheld mode. I wouldn't like to commit to whether it changes from docked or
Mm,
undocked in terms of its presentation. We do know that games do look decidedly more low res in handheld mode because they've got the screen size to kind of get away with
mm.
it. But I was thinking, oh, crikey. But then sort of loaded back into Venice or wherever it is you first start in, Vienna maybe. And I thought, well, it can't be Vienna, Florence. I thought to myself, this looks solid again. So I don't know whether they kind of just glossed over the bits that they know people hate and left that low res or what. So yeah, if anyone knows, let me know. But
And probably
obviously,
at the time as well, to be fair to Ubisoft, it's an older game. I mean, they're probably using old hardware to try and get that up to Switch spec to take it from what it was. So it's probably much of a muchness. Maybe they've done what they can with it as much as it's worth doing
well,
to put it on there. But
do you want to know something cool?
oh god, always all the time.
Within it, as I was playing it last night, one of the guys came in and in Italian he said, "I'm sorry, mi dispacce or dispacce," and I thought, oh, that would be a good one to remember. Within 12 hours, I'd used it. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Pathetic little worm of an Englishman that I am. Yeah, so Assassin's Creed got me out of a tight spot. That's all I'll say. So as if by chance I plopped Assassin's Creed 2 in, and the dad arrived late for Ezio's birth, and there was the words I needed to talk myself out of a problem.
Oh, superb. That might be 2 frames per second, but it's teaching you Italian.
What more can I do? What more can I say?
Exactly.
In fact, when I first played it through on PS3, I think there's more language options. I don't know if I'm not looking properly on Switch, but I did try and failed to because the game said it could do Italian language, which I thought, oh, that's great to hear the voice actors do that because it'd be realistic.
Hmm.
But then they even spoke Italian in the English section, and I don't think I could get the subs to display in English subs and the
Oh,
Italian
so
spoken
you mean,
word.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I think I remember trying to get it to work because I needed the written English as well to help me to
Hmm.
translate and learn the language.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I think you can do it on newer ones. I might be wrong, but the idea cropped into my head playing Valhalla. I thought, oh, and if I could put this into Norwegian and then put English subtitles, and it'd be like a super realistic experience. So
Hmm.
I'll report back on that next week. In
Hmm.
the meantime, put your pork pie on with the word press tucked in the band. It's time for the news. We scoured the very darkest regions of the internet to bring you the latest stories. First up, as is habitual right now, Push Square brought this absolute banger in. It's hot off the press, which is why it's here. Gran Turismo 7 gets a new PS5 rival in realistic sim racer, Rensport, due out in 2025. There's a breed of racing game typically found on PC that takes a simulation subgenre to the extreme, and Rensport is one of them. It's been now announced for PS5 with Nacon publishing the title sometime in 2025. Rensport is a realistic sim racing game co-developed by Teon and Competition Company. It has an emphasis on circuit training and features a number of licensed GT3 and GT4 and hypercars. Additionally, the game includes several real-world locations such as Daytona International Speedway, Autodrome Nazian Monza, and Circuit des Spa-Francorchamps. The console version will have full crossplay support, letting you race against players on Xbox and PC. The game has been available to play in early access on PC for a few months now and will presumably launch on consoles when it hits version 1.0 later in the year. My question for you guys is, do you know about Rensport? If so, drop me some info somewhere. Actually, I read your news when that was actually I've
Hmm.
read your news, haven't I?
You'll have to read them all now.
Wow, great. Okay, well, I've got my teeth in this week, so that's great news. So, what do you make of this? Another hyper realistic racer making its way through to challenge the likes of Forza Motorsport on Xbox, or now probably everywhere. GT7 currently on PS5 and also 4. Don't forget that legacy version. And here we are. So, what do you make of this? Has it got enough to muscle out a Assetto Corsa and those sorts of games?
When you think of actually sort of proper full-on sim, hardcore sims, even GT7 isn't a full-on hardcore racing sim.
No.
There's not many. I mean, you got iRace, and that's the ultimate. That's the Big Daddy iRacing on PC. But when you come to the sort of, I would say, just under the hardcore racing sim, which is your GT7, Forza Motorsport, a set of course,
Yeah.
yeah, set of course. They're the sort of main three you think. So there is gaps in the market, and now
Mm.
that sim racing is more and more getting affordable, you can get some good gear for not a lot of money.
Well, mate, not only is it affordable, but it's almost a full-time job for some folks now.
Yeah, it's and also when you look at like you've got the Gran Turismo World Tour. Millions and millions of dollars spent taking these races around the world, Sydney, London. You've got sim racers, Jimmy Broadbent and Super GT as commentators, and
Yeah,
you know, and then on top of that, you've got the F1 World Championships, which go around the world. I mean, they train at the headquarters. The teams are Mercedes, Ferrari. They invest in their own sim racing teams.
they do.
It's big. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
And don't forget the Gran Turismo movie that was based on a real life event of taking
Yeah,
someone from sim racing into actual on track racing.
yeah, yeah. And it's very popular. And a few years ago, SimCube or Fanatec, if you were buying them, you were looking £1,000 just for your direct drive wheel, let alone your pedals and everything else. Nowadays, when I used to do it, I had Thrustmaster TT300, I think RS, um, which with my seat and bits and pieces for £300, I bought an extra wheel, Alcantara wheel, but for £300, you've got seat, you've got rig, you've got really responsive pedals, and you've got a direct drive wheel. So you can get into it really cheaply. I mean, I remember a couple of years ago I was watching the Gran Turismo World Tour, and a guy, an Italian guy who had got through to the finals and was, I think he finished about third or fourth. He had the same wheel as you at home. He had a TT 150, the entry level Thrustmaster
Wow.
belt drive wheel. That's all he had at home on a desk, and just through practice, he got all the way through to the finals and competed well in the finals. So you don't need, as long as you've got
So
force
that's the
feedback.
journey he took his wheel on, and my wheel's basically been taken on a journey of fonts.
Yeah, I mean, you drive a case with yours and sort of put harvest peas. But if they ever make that a world championships, I'm sure you'll be top of the line. But I don't
I
think there'll be a
wouldn't be. I'm awful at it.
Farming Simulator World Tour. Yeah,
Oh, mate,
I
yeah.
got here with a TT 150.
Well, I've got the
But
kit for it, and I'm dressed for it.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I think there is. I think there is space for these games in the market. I mean, there seems to
At the
be.
behest of another product, though, do you think, or do you think there's space for all of them?
I think there's space for all of them because I think this is a very big grower market. Like I say, I think for me, there's three tiers of your racing games. You have your Forza Horizons, your Need for Speeds, your, whatever sort of arcadey story based, the crew, anything like that is on that level. Then you want to
Yeah.
take it up to something a bit more serious on the track. You've got Forza Motorsport, you've got Gran Turismo, you've got Assetto Corsa, now you've got this new one. And then if you want to go up, you've got your iRace and BeamNG isn't really racing, but realistic physics.
Hmm.
They're starting to get into a bit of racing now. I think BeamNG, but it's mostly iRacing's at the top. But I think that middle tier is where people want to be. I don't think. I mean, iRacing's very strict, real world rules, real world, stats. So that's quite hardcore. But I think that middle ground in the middle, that GT7, where
Mm.
you can get a rig at home for cheap. You can go on each day and race for a couple of hours, but get the feeling of racing in a lot more acceptable way. I think that's probably where that sits, and I think it's probably going to do quite well if it catch on and they support it. It's going to be decent, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you heard it here first. Get yourself a pre-order of Rensport. If you've got a PC, got some early access. It's currently in early access, and we'll probably launch on the consoles at the 1.0 later in the year. So keep your eyes peeled. And if you've got a wheel gathering dust, there's time to look at the missus and say, "I told you so," and get your wheel out, dust it off, and plug it in. Next bit of news. Last week we talked about Terminator. Well, guess what?
Robocop.
Robocop. Robocop returns in unfinished. You see, a proper show would have that edited out, but we're leaving it in so people
Yeah,
know that we're human.
we're
Uh,
raw. We're raw. That's how we roll.
Raw and unplugged. Robocop returns in
MTV unplugged.
raw and his mic's unplugged, so he's recording on his laptop static audio microphone. It's happened before, it'll happen again. Robocop returns in unfinished business, a standalone Rogue City expansion for PS5. I think it's our approachability that makes us so popular.
Hmm.
Or not. Following on from the success of 2023's highly entertaining RoboCop Rogue City, publisher Nacon has announced the perfectly named RoboCop Rogue City Unfinished Business, aiming for launch in summer on PS5 and every other platform one would imagine. Unfinished Business is a standalone expansion for Rogue City, which means while it's technically in addition to the base game, you'll be able to purchase it and play it even if you don't own the original. Now, to me, it almost sounds a little bit roguelike-ish, but we'll see how it plays out when we get more info. To reach the top of the Omni Tower, now overrun by elite mercenaries, players will have to access new weapons, brutal finish moves, and special missions, reads the official press release. It continues, these missions will take players through intense flashbacks, offering the chance to play as Alex Murphy for the first time in a video game. Very
Hmm.
interesting. Some of these stills that are available out there to showcase this look great. They've got a really great looking is his name Peter Weller, the actor? I think it is.
Hmm.
It's not Paul, is it? That's his brother from The Jam. But Peter Weller, the American actor, he's doing well for himself. He's RoboCop. They look great, the imagery. It goes on to say it looks a pretty straightforward premise on paper, but possibly with a focus on gameplay of a meaningful story, which we're sure that Rogue City fans of Rogue City won't be complaining. That said, still no price point. So my question, I've dabbled with RoboCop Rogue
Mm-hmm.
City. Now I'm a confessed big fan of the original Robocop, the original 1980s incarnation of Robocop. And as an aside, I did read the other day that they're working on a proper R-rated 18 sequel that disregards Robocop 2 and 3 and the 2014 reboot and is a direct sequel to the original Robocop. So there's plenty of Robocop action. I didn't believe it when I read it. I thought it was a joke. Then I went and Googled it. It was like, oh, so they are doing that.
Mm.
So Nacon have sort of wandered into this RoboCop franchise at just the right time, I believe, because they're, I think, proving to the fans like me, although I kind of fell off Rogue City a little bit. Um,
Mm. Yeah, me too.
yeah, but they're doing right by the fans. I have found nothing within that to complain about their treatment of the law, about their treatment of the characters,
No,
about their
no.
treatment of the city and the missions and the people you expect. It all felt within universe and very well handled, handled with some style and aplomb. I think that really is what made it stand out. I think their history lies in the Terminator game they'd done previously, if memory serves,
Mm.
and that kind of matched across to this in a way that, in my mind, give it some credence.
Mm.
There are some bits where the game falls apart. I think, you know, there has to be a want to play it through. And after the first so many missions, I kind of
Yeah, I think for me,
I
I
could
think
see
they.
through it really a bit, and I
Yeah,
thought, is it more of the same of this? Because RoboCop's nails in this, and maybe I should play it on hard difficulty. I don't know, but I almost want to feel nails because I'm Robo flipping cop. But
yeah.
at that same time, it doesn't present really that much of a challenge because you're just a walking bullet
Mm.
sponge. Um, I don't know where the challenge would come in a RoboCop game in terms of the life and death of a video game, and how you prove that you're
Well,
playing it well.
maybe that's why you play as Murphy.
Well, that'll be interesting in this. The way I read it initially when I read the news, it sounded like one of those tower games where you got to try and get as high as you can.
Mm.
I think Devil May Cry brought one out where you had to go the Bloody Palace. It was called. In
Mm.
fact, episode 1 or 2 of this show was named after the news of the Bloody Palace now being released as DLC. Um, yeah, the Bloody Palace is now open. Probably took me and Tom about 6 hours to workshop that rule back in the day. Now it'll do. Something random we talked about in the episode, make you sound like big boys, and we'll put it out there. But yeah, so the Bloody Palace, I thought it was something like that as a standalone sort of bit of fun. Once you
Mm.
completed it, you then had to try and get as high as you could in Omni Tower. But
Mm.
actually,
Mm.
it feels a bit deeper than that, and it seems like more of a story focused bit of DLC. But I do quite like the idea of enabling you to be able to play it without owning the original. I think
Mm.
a lot more DLCs, especially these sort of expansion packs, would go over a lot better if they were a good price point that didn't rely on you having well, this was only a cheap game, wasn't it? 40 quid game in
Mm.
conjunction with it to be able to play it.
Yeah, but then some people might play the DLC not owning the game, think actually I'm going to get the game now. So
Exactly.
yeah, it could work both ways that, but um, yeah, I think I'm with you. I played this, didn't finish it. I think I know people did enjoy it. I know Harvey Retro enjoyed it, played
Oh,
it through.
Ginge played it through and loved it.
Ginge
Yeah.
as well. Yeah, to me it was it looked really good, looked really nice. They got the essence of RoboCop and the atmosphere to a certain extent. The city felt empty, and do you know what that felt like? It felt like a PS5 game that used like PS2 tropes to the story. It was almost go there,
Mm.
solve the crime, do that, walk over there,
Well,
interview him,
PS2 did
come
get a
back.
version of RoboCop that was like the premium RoboCop gaming experience until this came
Mm,
out. So that's also spiked in price on that CEX app. For ages, that was like a £4 or £5 game.
yeah.
Now I think it was like 20 plus. So,
Mm.
mm,
But yeah, so that's what I sort of found. But it is, I mean, I think it's fairly enjoyable. I think it's nice to see them bring a DLC out on a game that was cheap, that was a lower price point game,
yeah, agreed.
and supporting it. They could have easily just cashed in and gone, but no, they're supporting it. They're bringing something else out, which also, like you say, DLC you don't have to have the original game for is good. That might
Clever.
encourage more people to buy the original, but not only that, it's given people to go a reason to go back and play again. Then people that did love it are going to be they're going to be all over this DLC. So and also it's not it's not easy doing a DLC where you're playing as a different character. That's a whole new lot of coding and a whole new lot of making a whole new character for this DLC. So that's, yeah,
Yeah.
fair play to him for that. That's quite interesting. You don't normally get that as much, especially a character that moves and acts completely different and isn't as indestructible as Robocop. So it's going to be interesting. But yeah, fair play. I think it's brilliant.
I
Especially
always
if they,
drive when I'm breaking in a new partner RGT.
may even amazing if they bring out a physical, complete edition. That'd be good.
Yeah, that would be good. Or maybe even have this as a standalone physical.
Yeah, good
Although
idea.
before we slide into the next bit of news, the final piece of news, there's obviously some stuff going on out there in the world at the moment with America and applying tariffs, and it seems to be that it's unwittingly um, might be the death knell of physical gaming.
Mm,
I was reading some stories and piecing some things together, and probably should have brought it to the news, but I think there's still some simmer left in this story. But a lot of games are printed in countries and shipped to countries, especially obviously we're a worldwide show. A lot of PlayStation games specifically get packed in Mexico,
mm,
um, and obviously a lot of stuff gets made in China, which has also been subject to tariffs.
mm,
So that's going to have a knock on effect to the end user because the businesses aren't going to absorb these 25% tariffs that have been levied on these products. So it's going to
mm,
actually, at that point, you've probably got to kind of abandon hopes of physical releases because
mm.
it's going to be far cheaper for the end user and all these gaming manufacturers to just put it out digital on the store.
Yeah,
What do you
I
think
think.
about that? Are we in the
Uh,
death knell now of physical gaming?
well, if like you say, 25% tariffs, they're going to be £100 games now, aren't they?
Hmm.
Physical games are going to be £100. Um, let's hope that then, if that is the case, then your digitals will become cheaper than your physicals because you know they need to. If that's the case,
Just so you know, that ain't happening.
that isn't happening, but it should do because
It,
without all the
what's right and proper is the very
yeah.
last thing that will get done.
Mm. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, if you're adding 25% on £70 game, well, we're going to be
So
£100 game, aren't
as
we?
as that develops, we'll try and bring some more facts and
Yeah.
and let you know exactly how that's going to play out because I did read that they're sort of in anticipation of this. Various things have been stockpiled and or brought into the U to and landed in the US early. So it means that Sony's got a bulk of things that they can shill through before they're going to have to start thinking about these tariffs.
Mm,
So that's also interesting. I'd also like to know from some of our American listeners, where does it say your Xbox games are produced if you're still buying physical on Xbox? Because
mm,
let's face it, that's probably about dead as well. Last bit of news. This has been published on various sites, but we've got it from Pure Xbox. Xbox makes Metacritic's top 10 highest rated publisher list. Microsoft Gaming is coming up. This is written by Liam Doolan. It's review scores are often a make or break for video game companies, which, with this in mind, Metacritic has released its 15th annual publisher ranking. In the top 10 for 2024, Microsoft is ninth on the ladder, with Astrobot publisher Sony in fourth spot. Taking out first is Sega, jumping from ninth place with the likes of Metaphor ReFantasio and dethroning Capcom, who recently released Monster Hunter Wilds. While Microsoft's might not seem quite as impressive, its gaming division, including Xbox, has actually jumped from 15th place last time around, although Bethesda was ranked separately in 8th position last year. Here are the full rankings as revealed by Metacritic this week. So, in at number one, as we mentioned, was Sega, 325.5 points, which relates to an average Meta score of 82.9, so not too shabby at all. In at number two is Capcom, 323.1 points, with an average Meta score of 82.1. Number three, we see Axis Games, 318.1 points, makes an average Metacritic score of 78.8. Sony in at 314 points, gives them an average Meta score of 80.9. Focus Entertainment, 309.6, gives them an average score of 79.1. Gamera Games, 303.5 points with an average Metascore of 80.2. Square Enix, solid in seventh with 303 and an average Metascore of 78.5. In at 8, Raw Fury, 301.1, average Metascore of 78.5. Here they are, the aforementioned Microsoft in at ninth, 301 points, average Metascore of 79.4. And at 10, we've got Annapurna Interactive, 298.7 points, with an average Metascore of 79.2. Next, Bournemouth Town Rangers 1, Lincoln City nil. And here's what Metacritic had to say about Xbox's first party releases specifically. It was Microsoft proper that was responsible for the company's highest scoring 2024 release, a new Switch port of the one time Xbox exclusive RPG adventure Pentiment. Bethesda saw a great success with its Indiana Jones game, while the high-scoring 2024 titles from Activision and Blizzard were Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and World of Warcraft The War Within, respectively. Microsoft's overall lowest-scoring total of 2024 belonged to Bethesda. It was the expansion Starfield Shattered Space. Xbox likely to climb the ladder again with surefire hits on the way, such as Doom The Dark Ages, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, and Gears of War E-Day. So it'll be interesting to see how the rankings look over the few years. Microsoft's new strategy to release more games across platforms has already paid off as well, making it the most successful publisher in the world in December, ahead of companies like EA. I mean, we've talked about before how Microsoft are now probably the biggest publisher on PlayStation right now, and their move to become a software company in the larger part, obviously
Mm.
hardware at the moment taking a back seat, but they promise us they're going to come back swinging. I have also heard as a little bit of extra granularity on top of this that the allegedly the next Xbox, so the follow up to the Series X and S development kits are currently in possession of developers, and they're looking at jumping the gun and getting a 360 like head start on the subsequent generation. So, with all that in mind, Microsoft positioned themselves well on other platforms and becoming a rather large and well decorated publisher, and also trying to get out the gates first on what is the next gen of next gen gaming. What do you make of all that?
Um, a surprise in that top 10, really. I actually thought Xbox would be higher with who they've purchased, and they have released quite well just lately.
Well, don't
But
forget, some of those will fall into a 20 or 25 calendar.
yeah,
I don't know when the
exactly.
shut
Yeah.
off for 2024 measurements were, whether it was December 31st or whether it was it bled in or got closed in November, as an example, which meant some of these
Mm,
games might not have had the upward trend you'd have expected.
mm. Yeah, yeah. I think, maybe you're right there, but I think, Sega at the top. That surprised me.
Don't forget they've got games like the Accuser and
Mm.
Persona and Metaphor Refantasio mentioned before that have
Yeah, there was some big
always,
bangers came out, weren't there,
yeah, and they
last
always
year?
seem to be handed very generous review scores.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, that's true. And I was for a while, I didn't think you were going to mention Square Enix. I kept thinking, surely they're there, but they're a bit lower than what I thought
Down at
with the.
seventh, yeah.
But then again, I suppose if it's on your averages, the more games you release, it sometimes can work against you on your averages. So,
In fact, I
but
take it back. These are the full rankings as revealed by Metacritic this week, but they did say the measurement time was for the top 10 of 2024. So make of that what you will. This is 2024 in review, RGT.
oh, okay, yeah, but yeah, there's some. I was trying to think of ones I was expecting to be in there that weren't, but then, like you say, Sony's there surprisingly because there wasn't a great deal released, I suppose. But then you had Astrobot. That's probably pushed their average right up.
I
But
think without that, they'd have been a lot lower.
yeah, exactly. But I think you look at next year's Xbox is going to be really up there with how they've hit more on software at the moment.
Do you
It's
think
going to
they're going to
be.
get more of an easy ride because they're now on everything? Whereas before
Um,
it was kind of lopped off and really only the Xbox sides of certain websites, IGN, GameSpot, you know, they only have a percentage of people covering these different areas. Now it's going to be covered by literally every department in a way. So everyone's going to get their hands on with Microsoft Studio products. I think that could
mm,
have an upward trend on it.
yeah, yeah, maybe. I mean, it depends. Being having more reviews, does that work against you or for you? It depends, I suppose, on how good the game is. But
I guess it also depends on it's hard for a critic a critic to literally sit in an isolation booth. So it depends what they've played before, what their expectations of the game was in their own mind.
Mm,
There's a lot there. So let's say Sony has a bit of a weak first party 6 months this year, and we get Indiana Jones from Microsoft. If I was sat at Push Square or a magazine somewhere and it landed on the mat, yeah, okay, there's nothing else to play. Let's give this a go. We talked about it before, Games Pass and PlayStation Premium, whatever they call it, versus having the game on the shelf in front of you and only that game. You tend to put more time into the game you put the bank
yeah.
into. And I wonder
Yeah.
if, as a reviewer, it's a bit sort of scant, you kicking the can around the office a little bit, and then all of a sudden, oh, yeah, I've got an Xbox game to review for PlayStation here. I'll give it a go.
Mm,
I don't know whether
yeah.
it'll work in its favour. I know a lot of people have said that it will be the best place to play Indiana Jones when it finally comes out, but who knows?
What I do find weird as well, going slightly off piece a little bit, is that Xbox now have PS5 development kits in their possession while they're doing games, and I find that you've got your rivals development gear to make games for that system.
They have had that
It's
though since the start of this generation.
oh, have they?
Yeah, because Sony had Xbox development kits off the back of MLB very early on. And if you think about it,
Ah,
they'd
yeah,
have had
okay,
PS5 development kits very early on off the back of Minecraft at Mojang. So
yes, yes, because
although there'd be NDAs going off left, right, and Chelsea, and there'd be a lot of contractual agreements of taking a development kit, in a way you kind of have to give them that
yeah,
at day one, don't you?
yeah. You
And
can
they would
imagine them
have
though.
to then
Screwdriver. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Look inside. How they doing
there
that? How they
has
doing?
to be some form of disassembly going on, or at
Yeah,
least some reverse engineering of the product from
yeah.
the point you get the development kit. But it's not as though by the
They're
time
very
the
similar machines anyway, aren't they? So,
they are, and by the time the development kit came out, it wasn't long before the stats started pouring out about what the console was capable of and what it could do, and yeah. So
mm,
don't you worry. That Rubicon was crossed at the start of this generation when they had to
yeah.
start sharing their kits between each other, and subsequently, if you chase back Minecraft development,
Mm.
there must have been times where
PS3 and yeah.
Xbox has been in possession of probably PlayStation development kit for some time.
Mm.
And
Yeah, very true.
really, only MLB was the thing that kind of scratched it out the sky um, for Sony to get a
Mm.
Series X development tool. So,
Mm.
yeah, I guess they both had a look at each other's pocket rockets while they're at the urinals.
Show me yours, I'll show you mine.
Yeah, I think that went on, didn't it? It's got to.
Yeah, yeah,
But I don't know whether that then becomes a little bit extra knowledge that you can use to leverage on your next machine. But like I say, with these NDAs, I think if there was any even a sniff that
yeah.
anything like that was going on,
A very similar heatsink is going to be in court in it. So,
exactly. And I don't think they're looking at copying each other from a hardware point of view. I think if anything, there'd be what software trickery is going on here that we might be able to leverage or use. Obviously, as
mm,
you're putting the game on the machine, you need to use some of this software
mm,
stroke hardware trickery to get the most out of it. So I'd imagine they're probably full throttling these bad boys from the minute they get them.
yeah, probably. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, interesting. Very interesting.
It's been a week of boring but statistically interesting news.
Hmm.
Is there anything out there on the wilds that's caught your eye that you want to share? Maybe some retro news? Has Evercade brought something out like a?
I've got another Evercade game coming. Don't know if it's
Is it Sam Fox Strip Poker?
ended. Oh, why do you always ruin my games when I'm trying to announce them? And Centerfold Squares double pack.
Wow, with special
If anyone
vibrating
remembers that,
pants model.
then that's the one. Yeah, it's the collector's edition. If anyone
Do
remembers
so.
Centerfold Squares, put that in the Discord. If it's just me, then yeah, I'm a wrong. Right, but I've got a new a new game coming. I've got the Broken Sword collection coming for Evercade.
Ooh, you dirty little slut!
Oh, you like that, don't you? Do
I
you
do
like that?
like a bit of
You like a
that.
bit of that, don't you? Huh?
I had the original Broken Sword on PS1, and I keep meaning to pick it
Yeah.
up, but I keep forgetting about it in a way. No disrespect to it at all, but I loved that.
I thought I might have a double of that. Let me check. If I got a double of it, I'll send it to you. I might have a double of that.
Mm.
But you've got to be a good, good boy. No, actually, you've got to be a bad boy.
Well, you make your mind up what sort of boy you want me to be, and I'll be your perfect boy.
But yeah, I felt
And
like I
make
said,
sure
I'll
you let
double
me know
check.
whether you've got it or not, so I can go back to being my normal horrible self.
Yeah, jaded George.
Lady George era, mate.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that one or one of the ones on the PS2, but I'll have a look anyway. But yes, I've got the Broken Sword collection coming, so I'm looking forward to playing those
What's
again.
within that collection, though, RGT? How many games you getting for that?
I'm now looking up. I think it's two you get.
What, one and two?
I'm now looking up. Yes, I believe it's um one and two. Oh, I've looked up the wrong one now. Sorry, bear with me. Bear with me. Um, yeah, it's a Broken Sword. I can never remember the name of the first one. Um, oh, hang on.
Templars summon, is it?
It is. Yeah, it's Shadows of the Templars,
Yeah.
and then you get
Curse of the Templars or something?
it's the Smoking Mirror
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
is the
I might
second
have
one.
had that. Was that on PS1 as well?
I think it was, and then I think the third went PS2. Am I
Yeah,
correct in that?
maybe.
But yeah, so I've pre-ordered that. I've got that coming, and like I say, the last one I bought was Legacy of Kain. So I'm liking where they're going at the moment with genres and variety, from point and clicks to action adventures to arcades. There's a little bit of everything there. So
What's the interaction for that though? Is it? It's not a touchscreen, is it? Yeah. Oh no, I'm thinking the handheld. So you get what, a joypad for interaction, which I'm not against because that's how the original game played. Or could you use a
yeah,
mouse?
to be honest, I don't know. I don't know. That'd be interesting. Whether they there's been a few games where they've took suggestions in from fans and then sent you a firmware update, and then they've
Oh,
yeah, said like before they had
because
original controllers, and then people were saying, oh well, we'd like to use 8-bit do's and open it up, open source it so we can use other control. Yep, no worries, firmware, there you go, you can use, it's all USB, so long as
that'll
you got
be
USB done.
interesting. Because something tells me, although it was usable with the joypad, something tells me on the back of the box there was an icon for the PlayStation mouse.
Yes, yeah, so I think you could use the PlayStation mouse for that, so it would be quite interesting if you could get like a third
here's
party
here's
USB
here's
mouse.
three games based on this topic that I would like to pick up in 2025. Broken Sword 1,
Hmm.
and both the now I kicked myself because I had these on Saturn and I had a weak moment and traded them when I was trying to boost my Mega Drive collection in 2014. I had Terry Pratchett's Discworld 1 and 2.
Do you know what I found because it was there three or four of those.
Mm,
Three, I think, weren't there?
maybe
Discworld.
three, but I only really have nostalgia for two, one and
I
two.
found I found the full all three of them separate big box PC games in a charity shop,
Mm,
and I paid £6 for all three.
mm.
And I opened them all up and I checked online. They're all complete with the extra bits and everything in them. So someone randomly had them somewhere and just traded them into our local charity shop. I just went in and thought, oh, Discworld. And then I thought, oh, hold on, that's all three here. Or hold on, they're complete. And £2 each. That'll do. Thank you very much. So yeah,
But
when I do
you
eventually
don't
get
have a
round,
PC to play on them.
no, I know. I'm thinking of the future. You got to think ahead. Or I will never get a PC, and I'll end up selling them and buying a really expensive PS2 game,
You're never selling them, though, are you?
which is probably now, especially how PS2 is, it's probably Disney Golf for 300 quid or whatever it'll be.
Wow. Okay. Well, this is a conversation angle I never thought we'd go down. But yeah, there we go. There's my aspirational wants. And I might be able to tick one off if you've got a double. So I'm hyped. I'm pumped. I'm ready.
Yes,
Oh, but
I'll have
it's
to
in
go
the
to the
shed.
storage locker and have a look.
Yes, more of that, please.
Yeah, as you did say you would like me to be buried alive in there, so
What? Think of there's no better way to go, is there?
I can think of better ways than being buried by just years worth of retro game and tat bouncing off me skull.
OCD like hoarding. I think it would be quite karma like if you got killed by your own collection. Um,
Just someone finds me in the storage locker with my Nintendo NES trainers sticking out from a pile of old old Discworld boxes.
I do think, like a Viking, you should be buried with your horde.
Geez, you'd have to dig up a football pitch. You've got to do that.
Fine. Look, in future generations from now, 1,000 years in the future, there'll be this great. It'll be like the Sutton Hoo, won't it? Of video games.
Just up the road, by the way.
That's why I chose it. I thought it'd be quite
Yeah, I
fitting.
know. Those people would listen now going, Sutton, what?
No,
How does
they'll
he
know.
not pay?
They've got Netflix. Right. Let's. I think that brings us to the point in time where we need to thank our
Mm,
wonderful
without doubt.
supporters. We ran through the changes to the tiers last week, and we'd love to welcome you as a sub. We've got some new art ready to drop. We teased it last week. I'm kind of teasing it now. If you're watching the YouTube video, think about it. Apply your logic.
Mm.
Yeah, apply
We've
your
got
logic.
something else coming as well. We're going to line that up hopefully with the artwork. So that'll be
Well, they
a
kind of need to because they're going to dovetail into each other.
yeah. So that'll be some more good news for your listeners. So
Trying to
looking
make a
forward to
dovetail
that.
joint.
Mm.
Beatles
It-
reference for you.
yep. So looking forward to that, and I will say again, I know I said last week, the artwork is superb.
You look great in it.
I yeah, that was the first thing you said to me.
I love it. I love it. I
It
love
is
it.
brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant. So yeah, I can't wait for that to drop. But yeah.
And the website as well. We've got obviously we're working on that in the background as well, which we think is going to be a really great destination for people to check out all things UCP as a almost kind of like a tee and off point for all the other content. How long's that got left in incubation?
Well, I was going to say that as a surprise, but you've announced it now. So yeah, the
Oh
yeah
no, we ain't announced anything yet. We just
no,
they just
but
know they know that we've been
yeah,
working on it for a while.
the website is getting there. It's very close. I want to try if I can. It's a lot of work. We've got a great lad who's working on it for us. A friend of mine has been putting the hours in getting that ready. If we can link that up with the new artwork, it will be fantastic. It might just come a couple of weeks after the artwork, but if we can link it up together and launch them both, it will be brilliant. But it's looking good, and it's
Yep,
going to
so
be a
that's
good
season
hub.
6. So if you're
So,
already subbed, you're going to get the new album artwork, much like you
hmm
received the last lot, which was exclusive as an early adopters kit. But we're getting ready to send out. No, we're not. We're getting ready to launch the new series, launch the new album art, and obviously those that are subbed at the correct tier will get their piece of artwork.
hmm
It's well worth the
yeah.
price of admission alone. And don't
So
forget,
yeah,
the prices you
so,
see are in dollars. So if you're anywhere other than America, no disrespect to America, but it's chump change.
yeah. And just to say, you all know what tiers you're on. So for your artwork, or if you get a t-shirt, if you get a t-shirt and a mug, whether you get all three, once artwork is launched, we will have a small print window where we will get this all done, and then I will be getting those out as ASAP. Okay, so do not panic if you don't get it straight away after the launch of new artwork. But once we have to allow the print and time, but once we get them done, you will receive them not long after the launch.
This is
So.
exciting, isn't it?
It is
It's
because
all
this
coming together.
artwork is going to look good on t-shirts, going to look good on mugs. I mean, the old one did, but this is going to pop. So I'm
Oh,
looking
mate,
forward to getting
I'm
these
I'm
printed.
most hyped to see the fridge magnet.
Oh, and also if you are top tier, I will be once new artwork is launched. I will be messaging you just for your t-shirt size. So I'll DM you, DM me back with your t-shirt size so we can get that done and printed and get it sent out to you.
Awesome. Well, you're about to hear your name. If you hear your name, you know you got something sexy coming.
Mm.
Are you first or second this time?
I went first last time, so.
Okay, so I'm going to start off with the wonderful Swedish gentleman, C Knox.
Mm-mm-mm. And then we have the one man George fan club, Carlos. Carlos.
Which means I get to gently caress firm returns.
It made me a little bit uncomfortable when you said that, but um,
Just
n-
jealous.
well, yeah, definitely. You never gently caress me. Next up, we have Trestles of New York, fantastic supporter of the show. Thank
You're
you
the
again, Trestles.
you're the sub in this relationship. I'm the dom.
Yeah, fair enough.
Totally different character at
My
home, I tell
reply
you.
says it all, doesn't it? Yeah, whatever. Just do it.
Everybody stand up, sir. See, stammi bene. Everybody sit down, sir. Spada bingster. See, sir.
Uh,
Yes, sir.
that's all I hear in my head whenever you mention Bad Beatster. Everyone stand up to the national anthem. Everybody sit
Oh,
down.
I forgot. For the national anthem, sir. Don't sit down, sir. Stammi bene, sir. Buongiorno.
Then we have the wonderful Tingle Tuner.
Now, aren't you now contractually obliged to do his whole sit you down, tell Mrs. Tuna what a good lad he is, tell her that she needs extra money so he can get a takeaway this weekend, and oh, by the way, he's been a really good lad, so you might as well get him a pack of 10. Uh, what are those things that you have? Craft ales. I don't even know if he's into that.
Oh, he's got to be. I mean, he's the ultimate gentleman, the ultimate man. I
Yeah,
mean,
so
if
he's
he's
probably going to drink like a really fine, high quality 40-year-old malt. I
with
see Tingle. He's
with
the
a
sort of,
Cuban cigar,
yeah, something like
whilst
that.
gently playing through Pokemon Silver.
Yeah, he's that kind of cat. He's got a fine cut glass tumbler.
Do you know what he reminds me of? Now you've said that. What's the PlayLink game on PlayStation with the fox where he always goes,
Oh,
Freeze Ray?
wow. Tingle Junior just
Not
sat up.
knowledge
He's
of,
like,
yeah, knowledge of power, not that
it's
one.
called
It's
something like Fanatics or Frantics, I think, isn't it?
Frantics, isn't it? Yeah, he's. I can imagine him, not the fox on there, just caressing. For the visual viewers,
It
he's
looks
holding
like
a
you're
glass from
cupping
the
a ball
bottom.
bag.
That's a substantial bag. That's bordering on another. But he's
Did you want another one? Is that what you're telling me? He's got two.
he's
It's a
holding
two-hander, is it?
yeah. He's holding that brandy glass from the bottom, and he's got on the other hand he's got his cigar while he's just flicking through with his stylus on his DS, playing Pokemon. I could just see him in the corner, gently lit,
What?
smoking jacket.
Hang on a minute, mate. Just think about what you've just described.
Yeah,
He's got in one hand he's got a brandy glass,
yeah,
in the other one he's got a Cuban.
yeah. But in between the fingers,
Right, I just didn't know where this stylus was.
he's got it lodged between the fingers. Stylus just there, flicking through Pokemon on his
The hand
DS.
gesture you just did, I heard some of the bigger boys say something about something in the pink, and I don't know. What was that? What was
I,
that?
I have no idea what you're talking about. That's
I read
a
it
bit
in Max
random.
Power about 20, 30 years
You've
ago.
you probably did, yeah. But anyway, who's next?
I think it was officially announced that Discord wasn't PG anymore today because the new, if you're listening and you want to get involved and win yourself a prize, we have competitions all the time on the Discord. And
Oh,
obviously, we have the one where people win a prize. Yeah, I
I
still
won.
have yet to have a word with you because hosts can't win.
I forgot to tell you, since I've owned the show, things have changed around here, and they can, and I have. So,
Oh, nice to see you keeping it humble.
no, no, I don't know what a minute is. I'm winner.
Okay, well, currently, I don't know what the. I think I said because Digital Monkery was about to unveil the word of the month, which is the what the photo competition's themed round.
Yeah, you took it down a completely different route rather quickly before it even announced it.
Yeah. So this week it's either revealed or nip. I don't know if I said it was nip slip or not, but obviously it's all
I
very.
think you wanted it to be, but I think revealed was the
Yeah. So I uploaded a
eventual
picture of
word,
my Assassin's Creed dating experience, which pretty much in one image sums up the whole dating scenario.
which you did have to slightly censor a bit with some emojis in some
I
sort
did.
of tassel areas.
I did. Yeah. And then Mickey came out of nowhere with his male model from Starfield, which looked great, and then slapped us up the backside with a couple of cyberpunk images, which were first class as well. So,
And bearing in mind, I hadn't logged on for quite a while, a few hours, and then logged on and saw this stream of slowly increasing filth start. And I was thinking, where is this gone? And then traced it all the way back to you saying, is it nip slip this month? And I thought, oh, what a surprise. George started this.
look, if you're on the edge and you didn't know if you wanted to be on the Discord or not, if you want to see some pixelated boobies, you get yourself on there straight away, and we'll welcome you in like a hero. Watch now as the spike on the Discord goes through the roof.
Ding, 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 ding.
Beep, 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 beep. Or
New
go
sub,
into
new
there.
sub, new sub.
Well, it's the only avenue we've got left to try.
We'll be
Well,
waving away like hell.
which means I get to rest as a hair follicle on this man's face once more. Again, it's a digital monkery. I think I'm going to sit here and watch him play through his Power Rangers game he picked up. I noticed on the Instagram the other day.
Mm.
No, not on Instagram, on the Discord. So yeah, I'm hyped to watch that on the playthrough.
Next we have the gaming Gram.
Interesting. I hope he's doing
Mm.
well. And thank you to everyone so far. I know we have a bit of fun at your request reading out these names, but if you want us to be super serious, we'll also do that. Which means I get next to ride in full force on the bull border.
Ooh, yeah. Then I get.
You've got to do
I'm
it.
going
You've
to
got to
try
do it.
this. I'm going to try this. Game Bran.
Who is that?
That is Boba.
I
Was
don't
that
want
all
people to
right?
think that his name is Going Brown. I just want to clear that up for the sake of the audience. Might be a new listener, like, what? Going Brown? Calls himself that? I can only find Boba Labor on the Discord. Who's Going Brown? Going
Yeah,
Brown.
so sorry, you ought to add your name, but then sorry, Boba. Sorry.
Who is, along with Digital Monkery, is our Discord sheriffs, which means I
Yes.
get my beautiful, some would say, the best stepson. His name's Ginge. He's got the biggest biceps I think I've ever seen on a grown man. And
And
I slept with Shadow from Gladiators.
reportedly. And also it got
Corpses
his.
don't lie.
And if you're out there and you're listening, and it's first time listening to the show, if you're a trophy hunter, this guy has 615 platinums, and he got the Hogwarts Legacy one this week as of recording. 615 platinums. The man is a machine.
If you've got more than that, I suggest you get yourself on the Discord and challenge
Yeah,
him
we
to a
want to hear from you.
duel.
Because not only
Because
that,
not
this guy's ripped as well, so I don't know how he has time to even get a platinum. He must be in the gym like 8 hours a day to look like that.
now, I reckon he's got himself wired into one of them kits that just sort of buzzes in, one of them ab kits, but he's like literally bought about maybe
I
15,
wonder what
20
you
ab
meant for a
kits,
minute.
and he's just sort of velcroed them on his whole body, and he just sits there, just sort of tensing.
It's not an extension of the dual sense. He's got like haptic feedback straight for his whole body.
Yeah, literally,
So he pulls a trigger in Call of Duty that starts at his
just
toes and ends
tones
at his
him up.
eyebrows.
Yeah.
Just keep seeing his face every time he pulls the trigger. Keep going.
He's in agony, bless him, but he looks $1 million. So you get the Lord of Darkness,
Yes, it is the wonderful Harvey Retro, absolute
which
legend.
means I get the immortal Emma Sharp. She's not on the app. She doesn't even know what apps are, so back off. Okay, just back off. But we did request more pictures of you in the UCP t-shirt, and we got nothing.
Not surprised, really. That's a little creepy. Next up,
Oh
we have
wow, yeah, I like the way you
what?
span that on its head, cowboy.
No. She approached me and just said, "Look, I'm not happy about this. This.
So I take the brunt of it when I barely say it.
Well, yeah, I said it was you, so I just said it was your idea. It's disgraceful behaviour.
Oh
I will
wow,
apologise on behalf of the
this traces
UCP.
all the way back to OG Tom.
Yeah, but someone's got to take the credit for it. So unfortunately, you're the full guy.
Yeah, fine.
So yeah, no problem. She
No,
didn't
now,
really. She didn't. I really.
okay. I just thought
Only
that her
winding you up.
I just thought the tour that she took the t-shirt on was cool, and I just wanted to see it continued. Maybe
Oh
when the
no,
new
I was the one
artwork
that.
comes out, we could, you know, do it then.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of a bit creepy again. Right, next up we have. Well, some say he was
Work
in
it,
Europe
bitch.
somewhere, but I was thinking, well, where can he be? I'm not quite sure. And all he would tell me, I get hassling him, hassling him, hassling him. Message, message, message. Greg, just tell me where you are. Are you in Italy? Are you in Greece? And he said, all I can say is, I'm nowhere near Berlin. Mm,
Which means I get to have Mumsy.
wow. And I get, oh, I've been waiting for this. The RGT fan club, of which I will add, is many, many members.
Yeah, but do you know what? My one man can kick every single one of your fan club's backside. Mano a mano.
This is like Spectrum and C64 all over again, isn't it?
Oh, it is, yeah. One's worth way more than, like, everyone else just jumped on your bandwagon.
Mm, yeah.
Only the true OGs are in the one man fan club.
Yeah, one.
Yeah, all right, Mass Wizard. No one asked you to stick your nose in, did they? Right. Which means I get the brick kicking hero that is Pete Brocklehurst.
Oh, yeah. The old, what did you say last week? He
The only
can, he can knee a breeze
near
block.
near breeze block, yeah.
Yeah, he juggles like a football, but with breeze blocks.
It's nails.
Then we got love him or hate him, Billy and Marmite. Thank you, Billy.
Which means I get to pull his arms off and stick them
Oh
in his
no,
ears and ride
I was,
Simon Prite round like a moped.
he likes that. Um, that's one of his favourite things. He's gonna. You wait till you see me next. He's gonna be like, "Yeah, cheers for that." Um, which means I'm contractually obliged to say,
I want this to be
very
your I want this to be your true climactic. Get as close to the real life as you can get with your climactic groans as you say this next.
yeah." But we are on video, and I don't want people to see that face. I don't want people to see that side of me. I feel dirty and wrong.
I think your eyes roll like a badly maintained slot machine.
Oh, I
You
look.
kind of
I look
one
like
up,
I.
one down.
Oh, I look like I'm fully exorcist. They completely roll, pure white.
Your toes curl round.
Oh, they do a full loop the loop.
That face you just did was iconic. I think. I think for the video,
Peep,
we've got to give people who come to the YouTube something that's worth turning up for.
hang on, I think I know why you're doing this on here. I can
Why?
see why. No, I'll talk to you off air about that. I know where this is heading. Anyway,
Oh no,
our
no.
last.
Oh, you're
I
like
know
10
where this
steps
is.
ahead and I'm 15 behind. It's too
Yes,
late for that. This won't be out in time to be used.
but anyway, next up we have the sexy, the
Roll them,
wonderful.
roll them.
Saki. Was that too much, or
Oh no. When I just saw the whites of your eyes with no pupils in, and just for that brief second, I'll be honest, it was everything to me.
I'll be honest, that hurt a little bit. I
Good.
mean, the eyes, not. Anyway, carry on.
And I do believe that draws us to the close.
It's definitely me. Anyway,
Yeah,
I'm
wipe
done.
yourself up. So thank you to everybody. I know we always say we have a bit of fun, and obviously it's with your approval. So if we ever cross the line, you tell us that you did want this to be outrageous to read out. So it certainly is that. Um, so thank you to everyone that supports us. It makes a massive difference, and we are channeling that funds into the relaunch of season 6 and also into the vast amount of goodies you're about to get. Don't worry, it's barely break even at best, so we're not running off to the hills with you, buddy. But thank you so much. You've enabled us to make the show a little easier, and we'll continue to push back into the show as much as we can.
Mhm.
With all that said and done, and again, genuinely thank you from the bottom of my heart. And if you choose to join, now would be a good time because you're about to get yourself a whole rake of good stuff. RGT, we are left in a position where I need to look at you like a man looks at a man. He raises an eyebrow and he says, "What you were? What? Oh, hold on a second there, Pella. What are you hoping to play?"
Wow, that was a children's TV program then. Um, yeah, be more Legacy Undercover. It will be
Pro gamer.
more. Yeah. Oh God, yeah, yeah. That's not for me. It's like the FromSoft game of Lego. Is that convincing or not? No.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You
Yeah,
convinced probably someone.
only the hardcore play Undercover. I think you'll find. So,
Yeah, many besmirch it, but not many finish it.
No, no. Elder Scrolls. um, so,
Elder Scrolls.
oh, sorry, Elden Ring. I tried to be all clever then. I said the wrong game. Yeah, so there'll be
That's it.
more undercover. Dishonored. I want to get this play some more Dishonored. Really enjoying that. Love being back in the PS3 again.
That's a real classy bit of kit as well, by the way. I think you'll like that.
Mm, yeah, yeah, it's good. Like I say, play some more Evercade, probably some Legacy of Kain. Got the Broken Sword coming up. I got a funny feeling that's coming tomorrow. I might be wrong. It might be next week. But anyway, as soon as that arrives, then I want to play through that with Mrs. RGT. And also, while I
Mm,
think of it,
mm,
um, when I'm
mm.
at work, I listen to podcasts, but I also listen to audio dramas. And I've been listening to one. I got suggested this because they said if you've played the Firewatch game, you need to listen to this audio drama called Tower 4, which is absolutely superb. Get it on Spotify. I mean, it's all free. It's not done in a podcast sort of way. But anyway, it's just a good story.
Is it
And it's
linked
very,
to the genuine game, or is it just inspired
no,
by
it's
it?
just, I
Ah,
don't even know if it's inspired, but it's similar premise that Firewatch, you're in a tower, weird things happen, you have to go out and look and blah, 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 blah. And the reason I like audio dramas rather than audio books is because rather than being read, all the characters are acted with sound effects and stuff. So that's really good.
a bit like a
But it's
UCP Christmas special.
exactly, um, just not as good. Um, so that's got me in the mood. I sort of said to Mrs. RGG, "Oh, could you remember when I played Firewatch?" She was like, "No." So you can't remember that game when I was in the fire tower with the guy and we had to go out and look at. No, no, I don't remember. So I might have to download Firewatch again and play that through with Mrs. RGT playing because I think she'd
Mm.
enjoy that. And that is a great game. That is a great game, Firewatch. And it's just inspired me listening to that. So yeah, I might jump onto Firewatch. So what about you then, a Georgie, a boy?
That's a bloody good suggestion, actually. I think if Sims 4 hits the rocks this
Hmm.
week, it might be a nice one to put. I mean, we've played Life is Strange and things like that together, and she's took the lead on it at
Hmm.
times. But I think Firewatch might be a good next step.
Some people say, oh, it's a walking sim. It's not really because you have to do a bit more to it. You've got a bit of map reading, you've got a bit of discovery, bit of, almost detective work, basic, but it's there. So it's just that bit more involved in a walking sim. You have to work out where you're going and bits and pieces. So yes, it's an approachable game for someone that wants a good story, but isn't necessarily a hardcore gamer. So I think that's a good one to play as a couple. Did you play that first time round Firewatch?
Yeah, I think I did, mate. To be honest, it's all faded into
It's
one,
very
really.
good. It's very,
I
very good.
remember, obviously, I remember the artwork. I remember the tower. I'm struggling to remember parts of the game, if I'm honest. But my overall, when I go to the Firewatch folder in my brain, it's one that you know,
You were speaking to
overall,
the woman would speak to you from the other tower, and this
yeah,
this tower
yeah, I
this
remember that.
tower four is very similar. You have this girl called Amber who speaks to you from the other tower, and you're talking to her. Well, sorry,
That's
he's
it.
talking to her, and this is Firewatch is similar to that, where you're talking to her, but you're then going out looking for people that have gone missing, and then you find the camp, and weird things happen, and yeah, really good game. The only downside was I always wanted the physical
Hmm.
of that, but it only came out with limited run. So if you want a physical, that's about 200 quid. Do you know what I mean? That's like,
Yeah, I think it might have been one of the first digital games I acquired on the
mm.
PS4, maybe if memory serves. I can't remember now, but
It was PS4, yeah. Mm.
yeah, early days as well, wasn't it? Relatively early days,
Yeah,
sort of first
something
couple of
says to
years,
me
maybe.
2015.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
So first couple of years of the console, I think. So
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, so I might give that a watch. So what about you then, young
Well,
man?
thanks for reminding me about that. I probably need to dust that off and have another go on it, to be honest, see
Yeah,
if I can
great game,
remember it.
great game.
What am I going to do? Well, some farming simulator. I have that, no doubt about that. Probably a bit more Valhalla this weekend. I'm at home, so I'll get the pro out. Um, and then I don't know why, but I'm a glutton for punishment. RGT. That Assassin's Creed 2 has got its hooks into me. I've not been able to stop thinking about it all day.
Also, what's happened with True Crime New York? Any more play or?
I've just not been there. Everything that I've talked
Oh,
about that
cause
I've
yeah,
played
yeah.
so far has either been on the Switch or the Portal, so technically PS5, but actually just streamed from home. I'm at home all weekend, so yeah, bit
Mm,
more of that.
yeah, cool.
Hmm. Get myself the PS2 out. Carry on the.
Are you going slim or are you going full fat boy?
No, well, the full fat boy is what's in the home setup. I've got a slim upstairs. I've got two slims actually. A pink one that I think,
Mm.
yes, I know Badabinkster. I bought from
Yes.
Badabinkster.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And a normal slim that I'm sure I got in a charity shop or something daft
Mm.
in like a carry bag or something.
You wouldn't do that nowadays.
Yeah, I tell you what, you would not do that nowadays. That's they're sort of things from the past, aren't they?
Mm.
I think from a similar charity shop, I actually also picked up an original DS in a carry case, and in the bottom of the little zip pouch, it was full of games, carts only, but it was full of them.
But
Mm.
even so, it's, yeah,
15
that's
quid.
that ain't happening now, boy.
It's not, is it?
No.
Some of it was absolute tat, like dog pick, jigsaws and
Mm.
brain training
Brain
collies
trainer.
and
Oh,
not
God,
even the
yeah.
proper brain training.
Oh,
And there was a load of proper drivel in there. But there was Mario Kart. I think Super
well, that's your
Mario,
15 quid back.
exactly. Super Mario, I think 64 got a go on the DS original,
Mm.
didn't it? If memory
Yeah, I did. I
serves.
got that on the DS. Yeah.
There was that was in there, and I also think that, and it did really well on the adverts. The one where someone was playing, and then you saw Mario transform into Mega Mario for the first
Mm.
time, and he comes womping through the blocks, and no doubt there was a
Mm.
celebrity going, "Oh, isn't this amazing?" Um, that game. So
Yeah.
Super Mario Bros, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Something
I
like
think
that.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was in there, and like I say, just a literal stream of tat,
Mm.
dress designer game. That cat, not even the proper Nintendogs. It was like cats and kittens or something. That sort of drivel. But nice to get, nice to
Yeah.
see in the wild. This was off the back of the PS2 conversation, admittedly. So yeah, on the full fat component into 4K TV, and
Mm.
obviously, I think I mentioned before that True Crime New York. I can't speak for LA. I haven't tried it. Is also able to output at 480p on component.
Mm. I do look good in those. That was a good plus point for those.
It just freshens it right up.
Mm.
And it
Definitely.
looks on a modern TV, it literally looks great. I mean,
Mm.
PS2 generally through component on a modern TV is perfectly acceptable. I do get a bit frustrated sometimes on Reddit and other places. People, oh, PS2 don't know what to do, and they show the back of their TV, and there's like component cables, inputs right there. And someone's like,
Yeah.
oh, you need a composite to HDMI converter. And I'm thinking, composite to HDMI? What the hell are you going to be looking at? What's wrong with you creeps?
Well, if I just got one of them, I actually got two because I've actually found one randomly found it in a charity shop next to some old woman's shoes. There was a brand new boxed the PS2 converter, which then you then set it to the 480 on the you set it to component on the menu.
But what
So
inputs was it going to accept?
you put the standard one through, and then you put it into HDMI, but then it does put it through the it obviously doesn't update it to HD, but it upscales it to the 480 on the component. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I
it's
think
and
if
it
I
looks really
was
good.
the
They're quite
alternative, I
good.
think would be a component to HDMI converter. Then you are going to get like that's going to look great.
Yeah, well, like I say, when the new shed's done, my original Xbox, PS2, GameCube. I'm going for an OSSC, so I'm going to put them straight into the HD telly. I'm still having a CRT for older stuff, but they're going to be OSSC, so get them upscaled
I
correctly
tell
on
you
there. It's
what,
going to
mate,
look good.
Reddit's a dangerous place to me because although I've already got a couple of CRTs and a couple of like throwaway old plasma things and whatnot, there's like a whole Reddit dedicated to CRTs and PVMs, and someone put a PVM up earlier and just
Or
like
PVM, oh
zoomed
don't.
in on the pixel and picture quality, and I was like, wow.
Yeah,
A
I went
Sony,
to. That's
a
what first got
Sony
me playing
PVM,
Halo.
mate. Oh,
I went to Retro Replay in Norwich, the arcade, and they have in their console room. They had a couple of PVMs in there with a original Xbox linked up to it, and that's when I first tried Halo in there playing that, and I thought this looks incredible.
yeah.
Playing Halo on a PVM, I think, oh, they. Mm.
Admittedly, the screen real estate's smaller, so they can get away with
He's
pre-merger
smaller, but
almost.
yeah, but
But the
it's the clarity
perfection,
and colours are
yeah,
superb on them. Really
yeah.
good, really good.
Okay,
But
well, that draws us to
yeah,
an end of the show. Is there any more you want to share? Any sort of social updates or?
no, no, I think I'm about there. I think we've covered most of it. And,
Oh,
yeah.
Bada Binks was after an update on your crotch rot.
Hmm.
Is sorted now, or?
Did we have to do that on air or?
Well,
I
you've
mean,
asked.
I've got cream, and Mrs. RGT applies it every 2 hours, but I don't know if that's what you want to hear on here or.
Well, my
She wears gloves,
centre,
obviously, but
yeah, pretty decent excuse to get crotch rot, really. I'll see if I can contract some over the weekend, and I can borrow Mrs.
Yeah,
RGT.
I'll send you a bit in an envelope. You
What,
can
Mrs.
apply it.
RGT?
No, the crotch rot.
Oh, right, yeah. I thought you were going to send a finger up with a dab of cream on it. So, what do you want me to do? Oh. That's all we have time for this week. Listeners, always thank you for your time. We look forward to the pleasure of speaking to you again next week. Until then, happy gaming. Remember, there's nothing wrong with being given an unofficial controller. It's what you do with it that counts. See you, RGT.
Laters.